Hi there, and welcome back to another video by Worship and Strings. In this video, I'm going to be answering your frequently asked questions based on how we can collaborate with a band well, with a worship band specifically, and all of these questions are from my YouTube videos, so we're gonna go ahead and answer them in this video. So the first question I have here is, do you listen to the music with earphones? I cannot hear the CD playing as I play at the same time the violin. So I will say that yes, I do practice with the original recording, but only for a certain amount of times, simply because I'm not playing with the band of the original recording. I will be playing with the worship band that I'm leading worship with, whether it's at a revival, church service, etc. So instead of, heavily relying on how they're going to do the worship song, I mean, of course, we would have to know how the melody goes and what the chords sound like, but then what I do is I would listen to it first and then play along with the recording the second time that I listen to the song. So for me, I'll tell you that there are two ways that I go about practicing with the original recording so that I get the gist of the worship song and get the whole idea of it. So how I practice with the recording is I actually have one earbud in one ear, in my right ear actually, and then the left ear being open. So that way I could hear my instrument and what I'm playing, and then in the right ear, I'm able to hear the original recording. And then the second option is I would just play along with the recording without anything in my ears. So I just play it from my phone, I play it from my laptop, and I just play along with them. I cannot hear the CD playing as I play at the same time with the violin. So in that case, I would play softer because we want to be able to hear the recording more than our playing. And if you've watched all of my videos, you'll notice that I cannot stress enough how important it is to listen more than you play, especially when we are playing in an environment that we are still getting used to, or that we are still continuing to grow in. Regardless of how many years that we have been doing this, we're all trying to grow, we're all trying to improve, and how we can also contribute to the overall sound of the band. The second question, you sound so beautiful. How do we learn to play the harmonizing lines like you do? Like you. Oops. How do we learn to play the harmonizing lines like you? Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. At the same time I started learning violin, I was learning to sing because I wanted to sing like my mentors who were also leading, they were playing basically all the instruments in a worship band, the drums, the guitars, the bass guitars, keys, even vocals. What helped me the most was expanding my skill set, and what helped me the most with harmonizing lines was actually learning to harmonize vocally. And I think because of that skill that I developed along with my training in violin, because I was still in my classical training period at that time when I was learning to sing, from there I got to discover more about what it means to harmonize by thirds, by fifths. I didn't really touch sevenths too much, but definitely thirds and fifths were the most common ways that I got to harmonize. And yeah, here's a disclaimer too. I'm not saying that you have to be a singer yourself. However, it does help to at least get a basic knowledge of how vocal harmonists harmonize their line when they have to be the background vocals for a particular song, or even for an entire set of worship songs. The only way to play harmonizing lines is to, yes, know theory, at least know the theory required for worship songs. The second thing I would do is I would listen to other classical string players who have succeedingly played harmonizing lines in a worship song with a worship band. Third thing I would do is I would start small. So in the event when there is no separate sheet music for the classical string player, for the violinist, violist, cellist, then in that case, it's kind of up to us to create that. And what's good is that we don't actually have to start too big. We could start small, and slower worship songs are a great way to start small and to build up on the number of notes and the amount of notes that you can use when you're creating these harmonic lines. I might make a separate video on this because I get this similar question all the time. So let me know in the comments, do you want a separate video about how I harmonize the lines in a worship song? So let me know in the comments. Okay, and speaking of lead sheets and chord sheets, what does a lead slash chord sheet, whatever you would call it, look like for a violin? It would look the exact same ones as the bass guitarist uses, the acoustic guitarist uses. To be honest, I never came across a situation where the lead sheet or chord sheet looks totally different from what the keyboardist or worship leader is playing, because if they are, then I think it would be a completely different song, and that means like we wouldn't be on the same page as the team. That would be bad. But then I think you're asking, is there something separate for the violinist? Essentially, we're gonna have the same chord sheets as the rest of the band. At least that's how it has been from my experience, and that's what I had to work with. What level of ability a person must be to play with a worship band? I would say that it all boils down to having an incredibly solid relationship with your instrument. Like, are you comfortable playing it? Are you like, have you done the necessary work in solidifying really good technique, and have you done the work in sharpening intonation, bow technique, left hand technique with the vibrato? Are you comfortable and confident enough to play your instrument? Because playing with a worship band, that will definitely test your abilities just as much as it would when you're playing in an orchestral setting, when you're playing solo repertoire. There's still that level of technique and even artistry. I would argue that there is a level of artistry that has to be met, but it's not to discourage anyone. It's more of to encourage all of us to get better, because hey, I mean, once again, no matter how many years we've been doing this with the worship band at our churches, we all are improving, because this is still relatively new and we're still understanding it to this day.